What's up, guys? Duster McDangles back here with another video, and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're going to be getting back into the NHL season preview series and taking a look at the Buffalo Sabres, how they finished off last year with team stats, individual stats. We'll then take a look at their cap space, contracts, and talk about what I think they will do for this upcoming season. But if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is completely free, does not cost you guys a single penny. So tell 5 friends, bring them onto the channel. Let's grow this community and have fun doing it. With the Buffalo Sabres last year, though, they had a very solid season, just missing out on the playoffs by 1 point to the Florida Panthers, finishing the year off 42-33-7. Individual stats on the screen right now, and man, oh man, couple guys had some great years. Tage Thompson only played 78 games, but had 94 points, plus 4 on the year. Jeff Skinner, a dark horse of a year, 82 points in 79 games played, as well as Alex Tuch, 79 in 74 played. Rasmus Dahlin, a sneaky good year on the back end, 73 points in 78 games played. Dylan Cousins, 68 in 81, and then rounding out the rest of the top 10, you've got Middlestat, Olofsson, Quinn, Power, and Peterka. And I list all those guys, all super young, and will be with the Sabres for a long time coming. Moving over now to contracts and cap space, they still have about $8.7 million worth of cap space for Kevin Adams to work with to build a team for Don Granato that maybe they're going to try to bring in anyone else to make a run for the Cup, or at least let's pump the brakes a little bit, make a run to the playoffs. Draft capital, they've got first, second, third, fourth, sixth, and seventh round pick for next year's draft, so they still have all of that to work with. Contract years coming up, they've got a bunch of players coming up after this upcoming season on contracts. You've got Olofsson, Middlestat will be restricted. Grigesons, I always mess that guy's name up. Kyle Okposo, you got Tyson Yost. Peyton Krebs will be coming up, and on the back end, Dahlin, probably one of their biggest players. Him and Olofsson will be up for contract, except Dahlin will be restricted. You've got Eric Johnson, who they just signed a 1-year deal for. Yokiharu will be up. Bryson, Stillman, and then Owen Power will be up next year as well as each goaltender. Comrie and Ukko-Pekka Lehkonen will also be up. One player of note not on this list that you can't see, he's on the injured reserve, Jack Quinn, but my guess is he'll be in the lineup by time the season starts by the recording of this video. And looking at the rest of their contracts, honestly, they're in good spot. The Jeff Skinner one still, he finally played up to his contract last year of $9 million for the next 4 years. Maybe he can do a little bit better, or if he has a similar year like he did last year, putting up 82 points, I think that'll be worth having him around for a few more years. Tage Thompson, I know they were able to sign until 2029 at that $7.142 million a year. Dylan Cousins, they were able to get an extension on as well until 2029 at $7.1 million a year. They've got Alex Tuch, who I'm assuming might be their next captain, possibly, if they don't bring back Kyle Okposo, the New York kid. I say kid, he's 27 years old, $4.75 million. You've got Jordan Greenway, a little salt and pepper there on the wing, $3 million for the next 2. Again, you've got the unrestricted guys we talked about. You've also got Peterka there. He's got 2 years left. And then you've got the Lucas Roski for 2 more years as well. On the back end, we already talked about Dahlin. Samuelson is locked in $4.285 million until 2029. Connor Clifton, they were able to sign a 3-year deal at $3.333 million a year. We've already talked about the rest of their defense with their contracts expiring. So they've got a lot of work to do after this upcoming season when it comes to the team. They will have about projected cap space for next year, $46 million. So they definitely have a lot to work with to try to keep some players, look at potential free agents coming up on the market after the season. But getting into my official prediction for these Buffalo Sabres, it's a tough one for me, to be honest. They had a very solid year last year. They're bringing back essentially the roster that they had. At least when it comes to their top 10 scorers from last year, they're all coming back. So it's definitely going to be a tough one for me to decipher, just because I think their weak spot is one of the most important in the NHL, and that is goaltending. Ukko Pekka-Lehkonen, UPL, still hasn't really proven himself to be a number one goaltender. Maybe this is the year for that to happen. Eric Comrie, we know he's a solid backup goaltender, but is he really a number one? I don't think so. So that could prove issues for the Sabres if they're not able to shore up their defensive side of things in the D zone with both defense and forwards, watching their assignments, watching their men, playing the body, watching that high danger slot area, heads on a swivel. If they can keep that, rest assured, and keep that solid, maybe they proved me wrong, but I'm still up in the air about that. Now, they did make some changes, bringing in Clifton, Johnson, bringing them in to maybe shore up the back end a little bit defensively, because you've got Dahlin, Yoki Haru is a solid defenseman as well. Owen Powers, kind of a two-way type guy, very tall, very lanky type defenseman. And then with their forwards, I mean, when I'm looking at their entire forward list, I don't really think defensive forwards. Obviously, Jeff Skinner, Thompson, Cousins maybe is the most two-way centerman forward on their team. Alex Tuck, I know, plays both sides of the puck very well. But I think of Skinner, Thompson, Greenway, Middlestat, Olofsson. Those are offensive forwards that maybe not necessarily the best on the back end in the D zone, but maybe they can figure it out to play some good solid defense, turn that into offense, and get the puck in the back of the net. So for my prediction, God, between them, Ottawa, and Detroit, I think only one of them will make the playoffs, because I don't think Florida is going to make it. We'll talk about them in the next video. But honestly, I think the Sabres are ready to take that next step. Maybe they bring in a goaltender via trade or signing or whatever it is to shore up between the pipes. I think that they'll finish around 95. We'll spread it out. 93 to 98 points this upcoming season. So around that 42 to 40, that'd be about 45 wins. Maybe a couple shootout losses in there for 1-pointers or overtime losses for 1 points. And I think they'll probably be either the first or second wild card for sure this upcoming year. I expect big years again from Tage Thompson. I expect a big year from Dahlin. I expect a big performance here with a contract year coming up from Victor Olofsson. Jack Quinn coming back from the IR. JJ Peterka, I think, will take a more elevated role on the team and really step up. I think Dylan Cousins, again, will have a very, very strong year. On the back end, I expect Dahlin, as long as he can stay healthy, to have another solid year up around that 80-point mark. Really interested to see Connor Clifton and Eric Johnson come into the mix on the back end as well, and want to see that progression from Owen Power and see if he can take that next step, not necessarily on the points, because, again, last year he had 35 and 79 games played. He was a plus 10, so if he can get up around, let's say, 45 to 50 points and maybe even bump up that plus minus to plus 20, I think that it would be a successful year for him and the Buffalo Sabres. But I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are about the Buffalo Sabres, where you think they're going to go this upcoming season. Will they make the playoffs? Will they fall short? Who's going to be their biggest X factor? I want to hear from you guys down below. But if you did enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like on it. Certainly does help the channel out a lot, as well as hit that subscribe button. Again, it is completely free. Join the channel, join the community, help us grow to something fun for you guys. Also, descriptions in the description down below. We've got some promo codes for you guys, GFUEL and GEEK. Be sure to go ahead and check those out. Take full advantage of those. I got those for you guys to enjoy some money off. But that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys have a good one. And as always, stay dusty.